they kept Hebrew customs, okay? They wore fringes, they spoke Hebrew, that's their language. They kept the custom of cleanliness, okay? They had prophets. They had stories and writings of David's wars, of going to Mount Sinai amongst the Tonga and what do you call start with an S, Samoa. I got books. You can buy a book called The Lost Tribes and Promised Lands by Judah Prophet. He breaks it right down. They talk to him. So they go into a further country where no one dwelt. Because when the white man came to America, who was here? Nothing but natives. When he went to the Pacific, who was here? Natives. No one was here. Meaning from the Middle East and from Noah and from the Africans and the Arabs and the Chinese, no one was there. Israelites were all in the Pacific. Israelites were all in America, North, Central, and South. Read on.
And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river.
So the Israelites took ships and they entered into the Euphrates. They didn't walk next to it. They entered in by ships that they'd taken from the other nations. There was a war going on, Assyria being attacked, and then Babylonians and Persians and Medes, in that attack, they took ships, okay? And they came down the Euphrates, right? Read on.
For the Most High then showed them signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over.
Right.
For through that country there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half, and the name in the same region is called Arshinim.
So they went to a land down the Euphrates, and some went around Africa, across the Atlantic to North, Central, and South America. Others went to the Pacific, and there's history on that. So they went to a land where no one was at, because everyone was in the Middle East, coming out of Mount Ararat. So then the 10 tribes came here to America. Then that valley went down south in Argentina and Chile. Then they came to the Easter Islands, the Rapa Nui, all your brothers and sisters. They came to the Polynesian Islands, the big one, Maui, and all of the little islands. Then they went across because they were experts at ships. When you read in the history, what is your biblical nationality? Mormons didn't tell you that, do they? Okay, they don't tell you that the Mormons stole the history of the 10 tribes. They're saying they're the 10 tribes that came to America and populated America and the islands. But it was you. Who was here first? The white Mormons or Indians and Hispanics and you? We were. So how was these guys the 10 tribes? This is what they're teaching in that book right there. And in that book it tells you that people who are brown skin like us, they're cursed. You got that? You know it right on point. I'm going to show you this right here.
This is the book of 1 Nephi, chapter 12, verse 23. And it came to pass that I beheld, after they had dwindled in unbelief, that they became a dark, loathsome, and a filthy people, full of idleness and all manner of abominations. Versus what they think about, like he said, they think that they're the 12 tribes. So this is the contrast to that. This is 1 Nephi 11 and 13. And it came to pass that I looked and beheld the great city of Jerusalem, which we know there, and also other cities, and I beheld the city of Nazareth. And in the city of Nazareth I beheld a virgin, and she was exceedingly fair and white.
So they're saying that people who are dark are cursed and loathsome. And they divide us up. The Lamanites, where everybody looking like us, the Lamanites, and the Nephites still the pure and good. Right? They made that book up. Then they had books in here. Right. That's right. And they have books in there that took from the Bible and put it in there to make it look like it's authentic. They took Isaiah 29 and put it in there as the whole chapter, word for word. Okay? It's a lie. So this is what they did. Okay? All right.
No.
Okay. So now you had that the 10 tribes, hear this now, you gonna catch this? So you had the 10 tribes in 722 BC came down the Euphrates, they went in their ships, and the 10 tribes were good at navigating in ships. Give me Judges 5 and 17, and they came over here to the Pacific and through the Atlantic to the islands. And the ancestors were, there's a book you can buy by a Hawaiian, it's start with a T, but it's called Vikings of the Pacific. This guy goes into it. Spoke Hebrew. They kept the Sabbath every Saturday, Friday sundown. They didn't work. When the white man came, they was like, we need Hebrew interpreters to talk to these people. They speak in Hebrew. You see? But they changed our names. So they came to a land no one dwelt in the islands, and they called it Asareth, which means newfound land or another land, Asareth. This is something the Mormons don't want to tell you about. If they tell you that, they'll tell you it was white folks coming over here. But it was us, our people. That's why we're holy. That's why I look at y'all, I wouldn't know who you are unless I ask you. You might be Dominican, you might be Puerto Rican, right? You might be all these tribes, because we're all the same people. You see? This is what they got us divided up. We got to come back to our nationality. You got some more in there that you want to bring out? That's what you want to bring out?
This is Judges 5:17, right?
Yeah, 5.
Book of Judges, chapter 5, verse 17. Gilead abode beyond Jordan. And why did Dan remain in ships?
So you had the Israelites who were remaining in ships, and along with other tribes, Naphtali, Asher, Judah, all these signs, you see the sign right here, they were in ships. So we were good at being in ships and traveling in ships. And you read about how in the book called Voyage, Vikings of the Pacific, how they knew how to read the waves. Your ancestors knew how to read the waves. They could see the waves and say, okay, there's a continent over there, and there's an island over there by the waves. Sometimes it's dark, they couldn't see no stars, they had to follow the waves. That's in that book. Okay, so it shows how we used to travel in ships and how the 10 tribes came here. So when you check out this knowledge, you can buy the book by Tudor Parfit called Israelites, a History or a Myth. And in there he breaks it down that every rite in the Bible, the keeping the Sabbath, keeping our holy days, keeping Hanukkah, the Hawaiians, Samoans, Tonga, Fiji, all the islands kept that until 1877 when Captain Cook came and started Murder Incorporated. Then he went down and put some on New Zealand. Those are your brothers too. You can get the movie called Once Warriors. You ever see that? Once Warriors? You know about it. What you got? That's the guy right there, yeah. With Pilo, Jeffrey Gross with Pilo Valley, A Polynesian Journey from Eden to Eden. That's one book.
This one tell them straight up that they Hebrews.
Read that. Now this, give me the name of the book again.
This is Waipio Valley, A Polynesian Journey from Eden to Eden. All right, and it says here, in the writings of the early missionaries to Tonga, the remembrance of many Tongans in feature, custom, and practice to the Hebrew nation was noticed.
Check that out. This guy is a Hawaiian. He's saying he went to the Tonga and many Hebrew customs was noticed when they got there. That's just one book. There's another one that says the same thing, but they don't teach this stuff. The Mormons, they don't teach you this. They want to keep you in religion, following the white man. They went to the Puerto Ricans, missionaries, white Jesus. Oh, what's that? Yeah, this guy right there. You got to reject that. What you got? What's your forehead?
Yeah,
What's that now?
Got a big picture.
Yeah, big picture of white Jesus. Yeah. And you're wondering now, and they don't like questions, right? You can't question nothing. You start asking these questions, we're telling you. Yeah, they shut you down. Because it's indoctrination, annihilation of your nation. Now we come in the end of America's going to be destroyed. There's going to be a third world war. And now you're hearing this because the Most High wants you to be saved.
Hey, their language is the same. So y'all language is actually okay. I'm gonna read this. This is from that same book because I kind of knew it, but I didn't remember where to find it. So the Tongan language is actually older. It's kind of like an older version of Hebrew, which we call Paleo Hebrew. So I'm gonna read this. It says, when the Bible was translated the second time, Dr. Moulton, the translator, was struck with the resemblance of Tongan with Hebrew, remembrance that amounted to identity. The only difference being that the Tongan appeared to be the older form of Hebrew. So the older form of Hebrew is known as Paleo Hebrew. Show them a little picture real quick. So this is the Paleo Hebrew. Okay, Abba Gada Hawa La Zakata Yakama Asa. That's right. That's the alphabet right there.
Look.
Whoa! Praises! She read the alphabet. She knows the alphabet. Bro, she knows the Paleo Hebrew. This is proof that the Polynesians are a people. All praises to the Most High.
They said their parents teach them. Their parents teach them. They said everybody knows.
Yeah, that's
grandparents.
That's it right there.
Testimony right there.
I want to pull this out real quick.
Hey, she said that's why they stopped. Yeah.
They stopped?
That's why they stopped.
So they made y'all assimilate? Like
No, they
she
stopped
said that's
here.
what made them
Okay.
They stopped here because they bear witness.
What was you